because it is a category within inside of a category, right?
Each one's got a very descriptive use for the client that buys that product.
Same concept, you want to do the same things, but it's going to give you maybe a little bit more. So it's really mostly about the lifestyle and that particular unit, whatever it is, fitting that lifestyle.
For everyday use that most people don't think about it, why would you just take your car when you could take your adventure van?
So there's a lot of versatility in this category. Basically,
Huge.
if you were to meet someone today, the main thing is them knowing their own needs.
You're not just getting a 4x4 Jeep and heading out. You've got all the creature features.
And that's what finding the right fit is about. Welcome to The Perfect RV Match, the podcast where we help you find the RV that fits your lifestyle. Today we're heading off the beaten path, literally. We are talking about adventure vans and adventure vehicles, rugged, off-grid ready rigs with all the comforts you need in a size that you can still park almost anywhere. These aren't your typical RVs. They're built to take you places a normal motorhome just can't, from the winding mountain passes to the hidden beach you've been dreaming about. And here's the big question. Could one of these vehicles actually replace your daily driver? We'll find out. Joining me is Karl Gwynn, one of our most experienced sales experts here at Mesa RecVan, and in this episode, he'll be sharing the key features to make an adventure van truly adventure ready, the models that customers can't stop talking about right now, and the questions that you should ask yourself to know if this RV type fits your lifestyle. By the end of the conversation, you'll know whether an adventure van is just a fun idea or your perfect RV match. Let's get started. Karl, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
So glad to have you. You have been with La Mesa for over a decade, so I feel like you're the perfect person to, really talk about everything that you know. Obviously, we're specifically talking about adventure vans, adventure vehicles. So for someone who is brand new to this category of B vans, because it is a category within inside of a category, right? How would you, describe what an adventure van or adventure vehicle really is?
So typically you're going to have an all-wheel drive or a 4x4 platform.
Okay.
Mercedes-Benz Sprinter turbo diesel engine. A little bit better on gas mileage than some of the typical Class B vans that we have. And the height, so they're going to be a little bit higher and built to go on off-road, down a dirt road, or even off a beaten path to a very secluded area for the night.
Okay, that makes sense. So the higher ground clearance
Yes.
is to help with that off-roading lifestyle and be able to go off the road. Are there any other key features that we should know about?
So the key features on the adventure van, typically they're going to be a little bit shorter. So 19 feet 7 inches roughly is what an adventure van will be, like our Winnebago Revel. Winnebago Revel's 19 feet 7 inches, and it is a little bit taller, and you've got a very aggressive tire for that rough terrain. And some of our other Class B models are going to be on a front-wheel drive platform like the ProMaster. So there's, in that category of B vans, we've got adventure vans, we've got our adventure vehicles, and then we have our urban-style Class B vans that maybe somebody could pull into a Walmart parking lot, make a sandwich, and take a little nap and get back on the road.
Okay, Karl, so we have a couple categories, adventure van and adventure vehicle. Very
Yes.
similar, but how do those differ?
So they're very, very similar, but for example, our Winnebago Revel, that is a Class B adventure van. And a little bit limited on storage, other than we have got a nice trunk area, but let's talk about the Winnebago Echo. The Winnebago Echo is on the same Sprinter platform, but this allows to have some outside storage compartments, a gear garage in the back, still has our 4x4 or all-wheel drive capabilities, same turbo diesel engine, and the luxury convenience of driving a Mercedes-Benz with heated seats, memory seats, and everything that goes with Mercedes quality.
Okay, nice. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Basically, the adventure van, I think a lot of people kind of know that term a little bit, but you can also get an adventure vehicle that usually, same concept, you want to do the same things, but it's going to give you maybe a little bit more
Exactly.
than just the van on the space and if you want to have more gear.
Exactly. And if you want to go off grid for a longer period of time, the Winnebago Echo, for example, with the solar, the robust battery systems they're putting in there, carrying more water with you. So each one's got a very descriptive use for the client that buys that product.
Okay, great. I want to take it one step further because I've seen bigger bodied, adventure looking off-roading vehicles that are definitely not on the van chassis. So I believe that falls into that category as well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we do carry vehicles here at La Mesa RV that are, like you said, adventure vehicles. They're not on that Mercedes platform. They're not on the ProMaster platform. They're going to be a little bit larger, allowing you to take more water, more gear, hiking gear, your kayaks, whatever it may be. So those vehicles are becoming a little bit larger, but still have the off-road capabilities that our adventure van has.
So it's really mostly about the lifestyle and that particular unit, whatever it is, fitting that lifestyle. So if you're going to buy an adventure van or an adventure vehicle, you are an adventurer more than likely.
More than likely, yes. So I've got a lady who's 32 years old. She's a photographer. She travels alone with her dog. And this lady has sent me pictures from, now remember, she does photography, so she sent me pictures from the top of a mountain having a cup of coffee. The next morning, I get another picture from the same mountain of her having a glass of wine in the evening. She spent the entire weekend on the top of this mountain doing nothing but photography, her and her dog.
Nice.
So that adventure van got her to where she needed to be for her business, and it doesn't have to be business. You can use this for pleasure. We've got people that hike, so they've got a lot of gear they take with them, snow ski. The list goes on and on. If you want to go have a 2-day weekend with your wife and have cheese and crackers, take that adventure vehicle. Doesn't have to be the van, any adventure vehicle, and go find a very secluded space and spend the weekend. It's a wonderful experience.
I love that. That actually makes me think about even having one of those vehicles as the daily driver, because that is a question that I feel like a lot of people have. It's a question that I want to know. How does that really work with that lifestyle?
I've got a couple that they were in downtown Nashville, walking the streets, in an adventure van, which is 19 feet, 7 inches long. Some can be a little bit longer. But in their van, it was not a vehicle, plugged the meter, we're in there having a sandwich, and this was after walking the streets, so they're in there having a sandwich, and they send me a selfie from inside the van, and out the front window is Nashville, Tennessee.
That's awesome.
So they can be used for multiple purposes with an adventure van, and you've got wonderful turning. You can park that anywhere you park a normal vehicle.
Okay, I love that distinction, because if you're really that adventurer who's probably doing that very, very often and you need a lot of storage, you might go the route of an adventure vehicle. But if you're kind of in between and you want to be able to use it for your everyday life, but you also do adventure maybe on the weekends,
yes,
the van gives you the flexibility to do that because of its size.
You brought up a great point, and what comes to mind is I have got a customer that told me the other day, they were in here for getting service done, and they said they used their adventure van for Costco runs. So what a better place when you stop and buy some ribs or some steaks and you got vegetables, put them in the refrigerator, it's cold, and then if you want to make another stop on the way home, you don't have to just race home because your food is still being chilled. So for everyday use that most people don't think about it, why would you just take your car when you could take your adventure van, which is right there in your driveway? Some of them can be a little HOA friendly, and head off to Costco and make your Costco run.
That's good stuff. Because that's happened to me where I'm like, I gotta go home because the food's got to get into the fridge, but it's inconvenient to do so. And there's a bathroom.
Absolutely. So you don't have to just race home and get your stuff into the freezer because you've got it in the little refrigerator. It's smart. It's perfect.
That's very smart. Okay, so to answer that question, I mean, for me, I feel like for sure this could be a daily driver potentially. If you're the big SUV type, I'm thinking about how big, I've driven big SUVs, and sometimes they can seem initially scary, but I don't think they're that much smaller than, a van.
Yeah, the majority of the vehicles that we carry here at La Mesa RV, and we carry the larger adventure vehicles, but the Class B adventure vans, those can be used for everyday purposes. They get a little bit better gas mileage, and it's not a daunting low miles per gallon like some of our bigger units get. So those are units that can be used for everyday driving.
Amazing. Okay, Karl, so these adventure vans and adventure vehicles are definitely much different. It's a newer category. Like, it's been around for some time, but it's definitely new, I feel like, to a lot of people that are interested in RVs, whereas it used to be the traditional Class A, and now you've got this van. What should customers, you've had a ton of experience with people coming into La Mesa, have on their checklist, when they're shopping?
Wonderful question. So when people come in looking for an adventure van, our selection at La Mesa RV is such that we carry the entry-level Class B van, maybe for urban, a couple that want to travel the United States, zip into Nashville, Tennessee, like we talked about, plug the meter, or they want to come in and they're a hiker, so they've got a lot of gear that they need to bring with them, ropes and pulleys and whatever they use. That's going to be a different type of vehicle for that customer. So it really depends on what they're wanting to do, how far they're wanting to go off the grid, how long they're wanting to stay off grid, how much solar is on board, how robust is the battery system. Is it going to run my air conditioner for 10 hours? Some will not, and that's more for the urban traveler. The urban traveler is going to go city to city, maybe even stay in a hotel a night or two and not use the van to sleep in, but yet have food along, have toilet along, and maybe a quick sleep if you want to stay in Yellowstone instead of going to find yourself a quick hotel.
Got it. Okay, so really just knowing what you need for how long you want to stay, how far you really want to go.
Yeah, this Class B category has grown and grown over the past couple of years, and now we're getting in, like we talked about, the adventure vehicles, which are going to be even larger, and you can bring more gear. A lot of them have got heated and cooled gear garages with LED lights and plug-ins in the garage.
Wow.
Yeah. They're awesome. They're
Getting
awesome.
fancy. So there's a lot of versatility in this category. Basically,
Huge.
if you were to meet someone today, the main thing is them knowing their own needs, and you could probably find an adventure vehicle, it sounds like, that fits that.
A lot of people will come in and they don't know. They've seen all the YouTube videos, but they have not gotten their hands on them, laid down on the bed, sat in the driver's seat, and the smile I get from people when they drive these, because they're like a large SUV. It's not like driving a Class A motorhome that's 45 feet. You can't just whip into any gas station.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was going to ask that about drivability.
My gosh.
How is that for someone maybe who's interested in RVing, but they've never driven an RV? Would you recommend an adventure van?
Absolutely. The adventure van, heated seats, a lot of them memory seats, power seats, you've got navigation. The list goes on and on. So all of the creature features, you're not just getting a 4x4 Jeep and heading out. You've got all the creature features. So you've got a bathroom, you've got a kitchen, cold food, even freezer food.
So it sounds like there's a lot of features that already come on most of the adventure vans and vehicles. What would you recommend for upgrades or accessories, or would you recommend that?
Well, there again, it goes down to what are we going to use it for? So if I get the client that comes in and says, Karl, I need a 4x4 unit off-road adventure van, not too big because I want to get into nice tight spots or even down a road, but if they're needing to bring gear, you can add like a gearbox on top of the vehicle, lockable. You can add extra solar. I've even had customers add extra potable water inside their RV. We've added tanks like that.
That's really helpful to know that even though you have that compactness of the van specifically, you can add for extra storage on the outside.
Exactly.
That's a huge bonus.
So extra storage, we've got extra storage boxes we can add to the two back doors. We can add a spare tire because a lot of motorhomes do not come with spare tires these days. So a lot of people like to have that spare tire, especially when they're off rugged. If they get a puncture, they can change that tire.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. Is there any experience that you've had, with people you've worked with that surprised you or surprised them about their experience with an adventure van?
Well, we did cover the people that sent me a selfie from Nashville in a little car parking spot. That was a surprise. And then I have my gal who does photography at the top of a mountain. So I get a lot of people, when you help somebody find the right vehicle, you get a lot of people that send stuff in. there's not that disconnect. I do not like to disconnect from the customer. I like to see that stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. People sharing their experiences,
Yep.
for sure. And that's what finding the right fit is about, because if you do get that, then you're going to make the most of your experiences. So, Karl, if someone is listening and they're now feeling inspired to get an adventure van or look into an adventure vehicle, where should they start their search?
Well, obviously, La Mesa RV and our website's a wonderful place to start looking, because from there you can look at the Class B vans, adventure vans, the adventure vehicles all in one spot. Now, when you come to the dealership, try to have a short list together of what you're going to use the vehicle for. Are you going to be going to Payson and just hanging out there and plugging in at an RV park, swimming in the pool? That's a lot different than the guy that's going fly fishing in Montana, and he needs to get down that dirt road and maybe over a little log here and there, and there's his favorite fishing hole. So 2 different types of use just in a couple of vehicles. So I think if somebody spends some time at La Mesa with a massive inventory we have, you can cover anything from the urban type of Class B van all the way to an adventure van or an adventure vehicle, whatever fits your lifestyle.
Awesome. I love that. And if they want to connect with you, then they can do so by contacting you in the link.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Karl. I appreciate all of your, your help, your insight. It has been great to always chat with you and learn more. So we'll do it again.
Likewise.
That's it for today's episode of The Perfect RV Match. A huge thank you to Karl for sharing his knowledge and helping us understand what makes adventure vans and adventure vehicles so special. If you're ready to start exploring options, click the link right in the description box. Don't forget to leave your questions and comments as well. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow the podcast so that you never miss a future conversation that could help you find your perfect RV match. Until next time, happy travels.